Kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit. Dee, 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 dee. Hello, everybody. 420 Live, Jeff Kravitz. Welcome to Monday, the Monday edition of 420 Live. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We are ready for a big hot week today. Today we got photographer Jake Silco coming on. Jake has been hiding behind the scenes at the Trey Anastasio Beacon shows. He's going to come on and tell us about what's been going on in there and what the vibe is. And we'll talk about Jake's career and what's going on in a couple minutes. Today, if you were watching the news, you saw our president of the United States talking about how if you wanted science, to vote for Joe Biden. And if you don't want science, vote for him. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want science? Is science something that's important to us? Is science something that we need? I'd say yes. I'd say I'd vote for science if that was the choice. And I think all you guys should be voting for science too, because, you know, obviously this is very simple, common sense kind of stuff. You know, you don't really have to think too hard about, you know, if you believe in science or not. We all believe in science, and we all believe that, you know, we need to take care of things. And if you saw the stories out of New Zealand today, they're having full on 90,000 person events at the for sports and stuff like that. Hey, Jake, I see you over there. There are sporting events with 90,000 people inside with no masks on because there's no COVID in the whole country, because they took the time to get rid of it at its core. And I have people on my Facebook sending me links to the doctors on the streets of on the steps of the Supreme Court, these quacks telling you that everything's all right. So everything is not all right, folks. It's we're in the upside down, and we've been this way now for 7 months. This is show 156, if you're counting along at home. 156 hours of Jeff Kravitz time is even more than enough for even me. I'm even sick of hearing myself talk, so sorry. But you know what? I was thinking, I was like, you know, maybe I should not. I shouldn't do this anymore. Maybe I shouldn't come live. So I did what I do all my life when I come to a crossroads, and I throw the I Ching. The I Ching is an ancient Chinese oracle that consists of 3 coins that you throw 6 times, and you create a hexagram. And I'm actually going to have a guest on in either later this week or next week, Adam Bauer, who is teaching a course on the I Ching. And it's something I've been using for almost 30 years. You know, when I was reading books about Terence McKenna and all the psychedelic adventures that I was studying, I came across the I Ching and I decided to try it. And, you know, when I threw it and I actually asked, should I continue the show? And what came back was really interesting. It was an answer about how you have to keep yourself in front of people and keep yourself social and keep yourself busy, even if you're not. And it just rang so true. And it's so bizarre because I don't even throw the coins anymore. I just use the little button on the computer and it throws the coins for me. And you would think that there's no way this is going to be even remotely close. And I know most of you skeptics at home are like, it's probably generalized. And, you know, you're just blown away because you made it fit into what you were thinking. But, you know, there's some kind of synergy out there, and you do feel it all the time. You feel the undercurrent and stuff. And when you read things that are intrinsically true and you understand that they're true, like science, you back them up and you're like, okay, I have a confirmation that this works, you know. And I've seen it too many. When I was thinking about getting married, I threw the wedding as my I Ching, and I was like, that's not right. But yeah, guess what? I got married. I didn't believe it. And many times it's happened to me. Anyway, folks, I'm going to tell your future for the next 35 to 40 minutes. We're going to talk to photographer Jake Silco. And Jake is a young man that's been on the scene now for a couple years. I think in 2013 or so, he started working with Fish, longtime Fish head, music fan, and a damn good photographer. Welcome, Jake Silco, to the show. Hello, Jake.
Well, I have to correct you. I didn't start in 2013. It was
well, was that your first Fish show?
My first Fish show?
No, the first one you shot. Didn't I see you say that the other day?
photographed for a music outlet, or I photographed actually for Mr. Miner's Fish Thoughts.
Right.
Back when he was posting like reviews every night, and he would write the reviews like sometimes and get them up like 2 hours after the show. So that would force me to edit the photos really fast and get them done and get them sent out as fast as possible.
Whatever happened to Mr. Miner? I used to love his stuff.
I think he just did,
he grew up.
Yeah, he grew up probably. Yeah. Life happens. Things change.
Out of the fish scene. Well, let's back up a little bit. When did you start? When was the first time you started shooting and picking up a camera? Was it something you did in high school?
Well, I used to live in the Finger Lakes, and one of my best friends saw the Northern Lights one time, and it was just blown away. It blew my mind, and I was like, I want to capture that, and I want to, capture moments in time that are like this, because it's amazing what you can pick up on a camera that your eyes can't see, So I actually started out like with the hardest photography in the world, astrophotography, because it's pretty much like all science. You have to polar line it to the North Star and get everything exactly right in order for you not to get any trailing at the stars. So you
didn't want the trailing to the stars, because sometimes you want that effect, right?
Because that'll bring out like all the gases and the red and the color and the nebula from the galaxies, and that gets shown more with it.
So were you using the telescopes that track and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, my friends, we were all in it together, and we were just like trying to better each other every night. Who could take the best picture, and we would push each other, and it was so much fun. I miss living in the Finger Lakes.
Well, because also you have complete dark sky out there, so you don't have the noise pollution, right?
Right. Yeah. So then it was always my dream to photograph fish, ever since like they had this site like fishpics.net or something, or fishphotos.com or something, and they would be pictures that people would post from the lot, the fans, and I loved that, just to see it from the fans' perspective, like what a fish show was like, entering the venue, what the scene, what the shakedown was like, what the view from the lawn was like, what it's like up close and stuff like that. So I always loved trying to portray that from a fan's kind of perspective. And
when did you get into fish?
Fish has been like a part of my whole entire life. My brother started listening to Fish, and so around 98 I first heard Reba, and I just couldn't stop. I was like 10 years old, and I couldn't stop listening. Literally 10 years old, I would listen to Reba all day long. And then the time Farmhouse came out, I was absolutely hooked. And
when was your first show?
I didn't get to see them until SPAC 2004. My parents wouldn't let me go in 2003 with my friend. But
so you saw just before they went into hiatus, right?
But I got a good one. That was a good weekend.
Which one did you saw? The
first night of SPAC 2004.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that was
absolutely. I mean, my jaw was on the floor the entire night. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
that must have been a mind blower to be that young and to walk in and see a show like that.
Trey said that like he walked off stage and he's like, wow, if we could play like that every night, I'd play forever, And I think that's in a book quote somewhere.
Yeah, it was something else. I thought those SPAC shows, there was so much magic that weekend in the air. It was absolutely incredible. I'll never forget that. And I got in a big fight with Paul Languedoc that weekend too. One of my specialties was getting in trouble with the crew. But, you seem a lot more mild-mannered and not as quite as abrasive as I am.
much more shy. Yeah, I've definitely tiptoe, and I don't want
All right, well talk about how you transferred from being a fan and shooting for Mr. Minor into shooting for the band.
Well, that well, I said I not only shot for Mr. Minor, but I shot for New York State Music and Live Music Blog. So in November of 2016, I shot. It was right around Thanksgiving. I shot 2 shows for Live Music Blog, and I wrote like a little article along with it too. And after the second show, the Albany show at the Egg, I got an email saying, we really like your work. Can we use your photos? And I was, like, wow, this is awesome. This is so cool. And so they used my photos, and then it kind of just built like a little relationship from there. And I photographed some more Mike shows for them, and I have a blast every time. Their shows are so, I do some of my best work there. And so I would go to his shows and, just build my experience and, take photos that I think, kind of capture what I used to see at fish shows, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we use a lot of double exposures and stuff, and I know Renee has really done a lot of that and brought that into the bands, into the forefront.
Right.
So, do you feel that Renee's rubbed off on you, or is that something you were up to already?
Well, I started to do those like 2013. I mean, a little bit, I would say, but I had a pretty good clue of multiple exposures, like back in 2012 and 2011 too. So.
Yeah, it's a really cool trick. I mean, back in the day when we used to do it, we have to do it on film, and that was really freaking hard.
I was trying that actually not too long ago,
and it's hard, right? Because with the digital, can you line up the picture you took already with the picture you want to take so you can see it, or is it?
Some cameras allow you to, but Nikon doesn't, and I have a Nikon, so I pretty much have to kind of remember where the last picture was, and then kind of frame it up right. And sometimes it works out great, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, you experiment, but the thing that I love most about fish, it was good and bad, is that you got 4 freaking hours to take pictures. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, it is a lot of time.
How many pictures do you end up having to edit on a typical night?
Once I get started looking at my pictures, it's like I can't stop editing. I just love, looking at them. But I've definitely cleaned up my my editing process, made it a lot faster the last couple of years, or the last couple of months, I mean. And sometimes like the JPEGs are just good enough for use on, what on like on a website or anything. They're good enough to use just right out of the camera, especially with this Fujifilm camera I have. Actually,
oh, you're using a little Fujifilm. Oh, is that a film camera?
Gotta take a picture of you. Yeah. All right.
I like it. Oh, so you still shoot a little film?
No, it's a digital camera, but it has the film like the simulations to the JPEGs, and the files right out of the camera look absolutely incredible.
So you're using that and your Nikon together? Oh yeah, look at that.
No, you can't see.
No, I can't see it.
Yeah.
So you're using that in a Nikon, and
when there's enough light, I mainly use this because it's just so easily portable, unobtrusive. People seem to look at it and want to get their picture taken, compared to the bigger cameras where they're more shy. They shy away.
Right. Because it's not as foreboding, right? Not
right.
Big and black and boxy. So talk about as you swung into the pandemic, what you were up to in March. Like what were you in the middle of, and what were your plans?
Well, I was in Florida on vacation, with, my parents and my brother, and who's the doctor, and it was pretty rough, like going through by like the first part of our vacation was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And then when like it started to get serious on the news, it became a lot less fun. And, it was, all right, let's get home as fast as we possibly can. Because I don't want to be here. They didn't want to be there, my brother being a doctor, he kind of lays the facts on me, and it's kind of tough to take sometimes.
Yeah, but we got to listen to the science.
Yeah, I know.
The doctors. Yeah. And what did you have planned for the spring? Were you going to be on the road? Were you? Yeah.
Well, I think I was going to photograph a couple Trey shows that he was playing here at CMAC, and I was hoping to, maybe photograph a couple Trey show. I don't even remember what shows were happening.
And then all of a sudden, nothing. And what have your thoughts been like during this pandemic before you got the call to work the Beacon, as far as when you thought your career was coming back?
Oh, I was in a very, very dark place. Like, I didn't think I was probably. I'm pretty open about like what I say on like my Instagram, and I didn't think I was really gonna photograph much anymore, at all. I thought I reached the end of the line. Like, there was nothing left for me to accomplish in almost, like life, because that was like my dream, and so it was really hard pill to swallow. And, it was.
Well, trust me, Jake. I'm right there with you. I have about 20 more years experience on you.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I was crying. I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to my life? What's going to happen to this amazing thing that I built, this ability to go around and go to all these cool places? And I still don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's right. You still don't know.
But then
you're bolt of like inspiration that I absolutely needed, and it was like Fish has a way of like giving me like great news at like the right time, and it's like I don't know how they do it or what happens, but it's like they deliver like great news like when I need it the most, and it's like the biggest pick me up ever. And so
was that, were you talking about when you first saw about the shows, or when you first found out you were shooting them?
When I first, like, every show that they like asked me to shoot, like sometimes they'll be like, I'm not feeling great, and then you asked to shoot, and bam, right back in it, And then once I get into photo mode, I there's no stopping me.
So did you find out about the Trey shows before you were hired to shoot them, or did you know before that they were announced that you were going to be involved?
Wait, what did you say again? Sorry.
Did you find out about the shows and then find out you were shooting, or did you know you were shooting the shows before everybody else even knew they were happening?
Oh, I barely knew in advance. I don't know much at all. So last minute he was like, "Yeah, can you come?" And I was like, "Absolutely, this is great news."
Yeah, great news. You're going to be one of the only people inside the venue watching the shows.
Believe me, I still like pinch myself, and it doesn't. Not a moment goes by where I don't like absolutely cherish the moment, and
Well, of course, and that's why you're there. Talk about
same as the music. It just the music and the photography goes hand in hand, because I love the music so much. It gives me ideas for different photos and stuff like that. You know, their improvisation can lead to my improvisation, you know.
Well, you have so much time, like we were talking about. You have 2 full sets, hour plus each set, maybe even an hour 30 or hour 40. So you have so much time to shoot and work your photos. And now you're coming in each week after shooting the week before, and then also having the ability of watching it online. Have you learned a lot by watching the video afterwards?
Yeah, I learned, you know, like different. I can see different pictures in my head when I watch like the webcast. So I know like next time what I, you know, want to capture and stuff like that. And my notes are like a mile long of like, I just write things down. Any little thing that pops in my head, I just write it down or use a voice memo. And people will think I'm crazy if they looked at my phone.
With all the things you're talking about. But you know, that's very unusual to be able to have. Yeah, I don't know how many you're going to shoot, and I'm not going to try to pin you up, but I know that to go have a whole week to look back and look at your stuff and realize you have it coming up against another week, and just have your brain to be able to you know, work on different ideas and things, because it does get repetitive, and you're kind of in a limited space there. You want to talk about how the venue's laid out?
Well, they did the reversal to, you know, portray that there's no fans in this difficult time that we're going through. So I thought it was a brilliant idea, you know, on their part.
But you're playing when you're shooting, you're up against the wall, right? You're up against the back of the theater, or is there a lot of room back there?
There's a little bit of space, but yeah, not much.
It's not much. So you would have more room to maneuver if you were inside the whole venue, being able to go up on the balcony and all these different angles. And now you're kind of limited to this little tiny sliver of land, right? Where the cameras are.
Yes and no.
Yes and no? Well, because you can still go in the venue and go do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
How is it with no people? Do you feel like it's missing something?
The first 2 songs, like after they finished the songs and it was dead silent, it was pretty eerie, you know, like it was kind of like goosebumps eerie. Like, you know, I'm so used to everybody, you know, cheering and clapping and going crazy, and there's nothing. So it was totally different experience, you know, and I got used to it as the show went on, but it was definitely like the first time I heard it, it was definitely really like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, it was weird on TV too, because all of a sudden Trey stops, and
I think they pulled it off a little bit better on TV, like, because when I watch back, I think they pulled it off good with them talking in between songs, and you know,
right. But still, after they finish when he's doing it, you know, just tearing through a jam, and then they get to the end of the song, and the song stops, and then all of a sudden he's just like, you know, it's just like weird. It's a weird energy, and it must be weird for you too, used to having all that input around you and all this room. And is there anybody that he's feeding off of, like during the show? Like, is his wife back there, or the management, or nobody's in eyeline?
Members, you know, his own band members.
That's it. But there's nobody in his eyeline for him to feed off of. Like, he usually has people that he's connecting with in the audience all night, or somebody, and now he's just connecting with the camera, which is, it has to be weird for him too.
Yeah, basically.
They all seem to be making the best out of it. And, you know, you're in a very enviable position, because every photographer I know is like, what's going on? How do we get in? And I'm like, listen, this is not that kind of thing where they want 50 people shooting it. They want one guy shooting it. They want the crew shooting it. So you're very lucky. So you must be pinching yourself every day.
I am so lucky and blessed that to have these opportunities like come to fruition. It's just, wow, you know, life is really, I've learned like lately that life is like, it's a small world after all. Like, and you know, you meet these connections and they, you know, and can have profound, effects on you, these people. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lifesaver. You were thrown in the middle of this pandemic,
Yeah.
to be able to come out. You're there for all the rehearsals and everything. Every time the band's on stage, you're there.
I don't know, like only sometimes.
Only sometimes.
Yeah.
And how's the vibe? I mean, are they just working hard, head down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's really serious. Not a lot of joking going on. I know Trey's got a great sense of humor, but
it's always like everybody in the Fish, they all have a sense of humor. Everybody that works there is so cool and so like has a great sense of humor. So that's what makes it, mean so much to me.
Talk about some of the protocol you have to go through now that we're in the mid to work a show like this.
You get screened every week before you go in. So, I'm wearing rubber gloves around, like my brother's kind of turned me into a germaphobe.
Thanks, bro.
So I'm freaking nervous Nelly over here wearing gloves and everything and a hazmat suit walking down the street, and so yeah.
So you're trying to be as careful as possible, and everybody's getting tested that's in there.
Well, no, because I don't want to, I don't want to be the person to get it, and not, even though that nothing happens to me, and pass it on to somebody else. That would make me feel horrible,
Oh yeah, that would be the absolute worst.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I'm sure the folks would like to see some of your photography. So let's pull up a couple pictures here and show the people what you got, Jake. All right. I haven't had a chance to go through these, so you're gonna have to help me through them. Let's see.
Oh yeah, but see, Trey's, he's so animated and he's so much fun to take photographs of, and he's just his smile and his energy is infectious. And
yeah, I remember when I used to shoot for the band, when I used to shoot for Fish back in the day, and dealing with Amy Skelton and everybody, they'd be like, you know what? You need more pictures of the other guys in the band. And I was like, well, Mike's standing there doing absolutely nothing. Paige is hidden behind his keyboards, and Fishman's hiding behind his drums, and Trey's just giving it up all the time. So, I mean, it's really hard for you to be like, oh, I'm going to be over Mike here when Trey's just like, wah.
Yeah.
He's very animated and a lot of fun to shoot. You're right. So here he is talking to Ray. This is at rehearsals. Oh, that's a great one.
Kind of.
So you got it on a pole, on a monopod?
Yeah,
down?
I raised up a monopod as high as I could.
Yeah, it just looks absolutely incredible. Is that a 14 to 24 or something on that? It looks wide.
That is actually a 12 millimeter full frame. 12. Yeah, it's pretty wide.
Yeah, that looks wide.
Now,
so now we're on stage with Fish.
That's the same lens, and
what shows this?
The last night of Dick's 2019. First two, when he usually goes nuts. It's
so you wanted that shot from behind him when he holds the guitar up?
Yeah, I think there's another one in there that I like too. That one's Mike.
And this is one of your double exposures,
30,
right?
19, and it's just when towards the end of the show, I just like to experiment. I've taken a bunch of photos already, and it's just get a little creative.
Yeah, and it's much more interesting, and everybody loves it. Well, that's got to be the Garden, right?
Yeah, no, that's not. I think that's the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium.
Oh, that's weird because because they light. Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah. I'm kidding.
Oh, thank you. God, you already had me going crazy. Jake was playing this venue game the other day on Instagram where it was like, guess the venue, and then showing these pictures of fish. I don't think I got 2 right. I don't, and then you shared one of my shots. Thank you very much, which is classic.
No, nobody could get Irving Meadows. It was like the hardest one, but that's mainly a dead venue. So,
but Irvine Meadows, yeah, Fish only played there once. They only played there. Oh wait, I'm at the opposite end. Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing these for a minute and go the other way here. And so 2, 3, 4. Wait, hold on here. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, hold on. Photos 1. Share them all. I got some more here, Jake. You send me some more.
Yeah, that's what
Let's see here. Just a little bit of technical mojo from me on my end, but let's see. Here we go. Share screen, and here's Tony and Russ.
Yeah,
Zero.
One they shared there was that. Yeah, I like that one too. Pretty cool. That was from the Tabernacle last year in 2019 in May. No, it was the second show, June 1st. And I like that one because you obviously know who it is,
Right, but it's so funny because you barely see him. You're just like, it's like an optical. The lights are kind of messing with your eyes. It's a great shot.
Yeah. And that was also with the monopod. And he was doing like a little loop jam, so it was kind of feeding that the circles for the loops.
Epic. Oh, yeah, here's the Ryman.
At the Ryman, yeah, that was like one of the highlights of my photographing. That place was just, I crossed my heart when I went in there. It's so holy.
It really is. And this is during sound check because the light's coming in through the window, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Because at night you won't see that the same way, right?
Yeah.
A beautiful venue, one of the most classic venues in America. Is a great shot. This is
Ghost of the Forest, the final night of the Ghost of the Forest in New York City last year. That tour was like, it taught me a lot, working with Patrick and Julia. They are just like so creative and they are so supportive and absolutely like really just great people.
This classic shot, the Coswald Vox shot with the
that one seems to be the one that everyone emails me about and likes.
Yeah, it's a great shot. It was a great show too. It was probably one of the best, some of the best new music Fish has written in years. Right?
Yeah, it was absolutely. That night was so fun to photograph and everything, the music,
Yeah, but incredibly visual band. And when they go into something like this, where they clear the stage and they took all the instruments off and everything was white, it was just such a different look, right?
Right. Yeah. Because there's another one.
Because the cubes, and this is a Ryman again with
everyone. Yeah, that was another one. The Ryman.
And that's also from Soundcheck too, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Because you can get up right behind them.
Yeah, this one I really like.
Yeah, it's great. Here we go.
Tab, I like how Zero is throwing up that I don't know what you call it.
Oh yeah, the shaky thing. I see it up there now.
Shaking.
Yeah.
And the band all move towards the front of the stage during Curlew's call, and then they would like keep moving back and forth, and it was really cool.
I love the horns up. You got a total pinnacle moment here. The horns up, Zero with the thing up.
Yeah.
Everybody up. It's great. Great shot. There he is.
When I was talking about the first time. It was just I love how you can see the jubilation on the fans' faces, and yeah, it was Dick's 2019. That was a special run.
Yeah. Well, Dick's is a special venue, right?
And then this was also a special night. The first time I photographed them, New Year's 2017. First time I photographed for them, I should say.
Oh, but working for Fish.
Yeah.
New Year's 2017. Wow, that's epic. Great shot. I love the shadow.
Yeah.
So that's the garden then, right?
Yeah. And it's like they make it so easy on New Year's to just take great photos. So
yeah, because there's another very visual show. 2019 was visual. Oh well, 2019 was the Rescue Squad, right?
Yeah, but I mean, up until the Rescue Squad, I thought it was awesome. I
thought it was good all the way through, even with the Rescue Squad.
Yeah, even better. Yeah, another first two probably one of my favorites.
He's so serious, man. He's like means business, huh?
Mm-hmm. He's gonna tear a freaking hole through your roof.
He's gonna tear a hole through your brain. He's gonna come out one side and go out the other. And this is great. This is how they use the art.
Yeah, and stuff like this, it never gets old. It always makes me like happy, and
seeing your photographs used in art that the band uses to promote their shows and stuff.
Really cool.
Yeah, well, you're a lucky guy. You stepped in shit, and you came out the other side, which is great. So, what do you look forward to when you go into the Beacon? Like, what's on your list? I mean, do you have a checklist of songs you want to hear? Do you have?
No, I don't ever like tell them.
No. I'm not saying that you request them. I'm just saying in your head.
Oh, do I have it?
Yeah. Do you have like a mental checklist of things you want to hear?
Yeah, but I've gotten to the point where like I used to be so serious into like what I wanted to hear and when I would walk away from a show and like, and now I'm a lot more just like acceptant, what they play is what they play, and you get what you get. So, when they used to have a bad show, I would be pissed, just because I love them so much. I love the music and everything,
But but what they do, you can't do the same thing every night. That's the thing. Some nights you dig in and you can't hit those notes.
It's harder, some nights like it flows so easy, and then some nights you're kind of like swimming upstream to get the good stuff, But you end up getting it anyways.
Peter Wallace, a fellow photographer. What is it like shooting the show with the band facing backwards, no crowd to deal with? What are some of the angles and shots you can get that you couldn't normally? Gotta imagine you have even more freedom.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice not bumping into people, and but yeah,
would you prefer it? But you'd prefer to have an audience, right? Ultimately.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like the human connection and live energy. Nothing like it.
So you were there. I know it's always different from rehearsal to when you play a show when there's an audience involved. But how is it from rehearsal to show? Can you tell a difference in what's happening musically? I mean, does it seem a little bit different, or is it pretty much the same because they don't have that audience to feed off of? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the same.
Yeah. So they're just going up there and they're playing everything they can, but he just doesn't have that feedback of the crowd. Because when Fish hits, they're in an instrumental jam and they hit something that the fans hadn't heard yet or agree with, the whole crowd just lights up, and that kind of pushes the band even more. So here you don't have that feedback from the band, so everything has to come from the other musicians on stage, right? All the energy.
Yeah.
And everybody there is used to it, right? Because nobody's been playing at all for the past 7 months. It's not like anybody else has been doing concerts.
It's really good vibe because everybody, like hasn't seen each other for a while. And, when I walked in the Beacon and saw everybody, it was just Man, I was so happy.
It was like a reunion, huh?
Yeah, it really was.
I can't imagine. So you got this week coming up. Where do you live? What part of are you're
Well,
close though, right?
I don't know what shows I'm going to photograph.
But
So
you're working this week, you know that? Or they haven't
no,
told you yet?
I'm not.
Oh, so week to week you don't know what you're doing.
Nope.
Wow. When do they finally let you know? Thursday night?
No, they let me know in advance, you know.
How far away are you from the city?
5 hours. I can make it.
You can make it, no problem. And what's the city been like? Because you're in the city and the city's going through crazy times right now.
I've never seen New York City so quiet. Like it was pretty weird walking around down the street and not having swarms of people around you. But I didn't really go out on the street that much. Like I said, I just stuck to my hotel room and went right down to the venue because I don't want to catch the virus and then prevent,
The show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's taking it deadly seriously as we need to right now because we don't have any answers. So it's been really crazy. Why don't you talk about some of your influences growing up photographically?
Well, obviously yourself. I definitely love.
You don't have to say that just because you're on my show, Jake.
Yeah, well, you were photographing around the time when I started getting into them, like 2003 and 2004. So that was like, but I loved this guy. He was the Grateful Dead photographer. Jim Anderson is his name. And he would take photos of the spinners in the hallway, the parking lot scene, everything. And I was like, this is the stuff that's really fun to look at, like what was it like? I wanted to know what was it like to be at a Dead show back in the day. And that guy brought me closer to like any other photographer, I think, pretty much, because he shot from like a fan's perspective and it was really cool.
Was he a guy that had photo passes or was he a guy that just brought his camera to shows? Like, did he have access?
He had photo passes too, but he just roamed everywhere. He just went everywhere. And it was cool.
And those were the film days, right?
Yeah.
They weren't as much fun, trust me.
And obviously Danny Clinch was huge influence on me.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Danny, incredible photographer, still killing it. Has created a legendary business. How do you grow your business in these times? I mean, you're working with these guys, but what else? I mean, I don't know what's going on for me even. Do you got a strategy? Got some tips for me there, Jake?
I have a couple ideas, so like that I got in Maine of maybe like a new kind of business venture, but I don't, I have to sit down and think about it for a while, a little bit more, and so
for something for you to do besides photography, you're thinking of?
Well, no, it would be photography, but like just a totally different style, like more lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, listen, photography is always going to be important. It's an amazing skill, and I tell people this all the time. Once you have it, you can do a million different things with it. It doesn't have to be the one thing. Like, yes, shooting the bands and the live music is so great because the images are so visceral and you can have so much fun with them and you can really play with the angles and you can play with the colors and the lights and drag the shutter and make the pictures look really exciting. But we don't have that right now. So I myself am just trying to figure out what the hell's going to be next. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Like photography was very instrumental in me getting sober from alcohol, and so
how long have you been sober?
Since I relapsed like one time in 2018, and that was And then since August of 2018, I think I've been sober.
And what's your big lesson that you took away from being sober? What did it teach you?
Well, it taught me that I almost killed myself from drinking.
You were drinking that much?
Yeah, pretty much. And at some point, I had like an epiphany, like almost near death experience, and it was very eye opening.
Yeah, well,
and,
we only get one body, and it's so hard when you're young because you think you can handle it. And alcohol, it's interesting because that's our entry level drug. It's the first thing that everybody kind of does is has a drink.
Yeah.
So and it's so socially, it's just so hard because everybody feels the need to drink all the time. It's unbelievable. Alcohol is not really my thing. There are some chemicals I really love, but I don't really deal with things that binge. I don't like binging things. I want a little tiny thing that's going to get me to a certain zone for a couple hours. But it's important, I think, and we had a huge talk a couple weeks ago with Anders Osborne and Ivan Neville and Annabelle Lukens on the show about their sobriety and how important it is to be sober and how much their life has changed. I mean, what's the biggest change in your life since you stopped drinking?
Well, what was the biggest change? Definitely more like aware of my surroundings, I would say. Absolutely, like 100%. I try and put myself in other people's shoes more than I did before, I think. So
more compassionate.
Yeah, definitely.
And more aware. I mean, yes, because alcohol kind of numbs you and you're not aware of your surroundings. You think that you are your surroundings.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So it definitely changes. Well, I'm proud of you. I mean, that's amazing. It's incredible.
And there was, a time, like when I was, when I was like, oh man, if I quit drinking, will I still be a good photographer? And I was, wondering that, but it turns out it was just the artistry was not stemmed from alcohol. It was stemmed from the artistry that was in my DNA. My dad is an incredible artist, and I always say like, oh, I got like 15 different projects going on at once. Well, he's got like 40 different projects going on at once simultaneously.
So he's very driven. That's where you get it from.
He's very crafty. So, and I think maybe that rubbed off a little bit on me. So,
well, you know what? One thing I've learned is I'm turning into my dad in my old age. It wasn't something I really intended to do, but here I am talking to you and talking to other friends.
And it just happens.
It just happens. And believe me, for years, I tried not to even get close because I was like, oh, I don't want to turn into my dad. But you know what? My dad was a great guy. I'm sure your dad was a great guy. There's a lot worse people we could turn into than our fathers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's great. What are you looking forward to?
Just hanging out with people again. I absolutely miss like not only my friends from Fish and the fans that I haven't seen, but just like those family parties that we always would have, and people would come over, and like family means a lot to me. But there was a while, like when I couldn't go up to my brother's house because he was having a baby, and that kind of hurt me. Like I love my family so much, I want to see them,
especially when they're doing something a monumental time like having a baby.
Yeah, I did not want to hurt that. So that's, I think this year you think about your loved ones way more than you ever have, with this going on.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple comments here. Look, Kevin States are just chimed in. Thanks for shooting with my cousin Kenny and family below the logo backstage of New Year's. Your beacon work is great and much appreciated by all of us. Stay positive, test negative.
Thank
Trey's
you.
brother-in-law, Kevin, old friend of mine. I've known Kevin States since I was 18.
Yeah, I met him at Higher Ground a couple years ago.
Kind of crazy. All right, now I'm sure this is more of a question for me than for Jake, because I'm not going to pin you up on your usage of any substances since you're sober, but I do psychedelics and take pictures. And yeah, I find that I learn things, but also, I want to dance more than I want to shoot.
Well, there came to a point where I had to make the decision, and I was like, do I want to, get fucked up, or do I want to pursue this other passion that gets me just as high as those drugs? So I think I made the right call on the photography.
Yeah, I agree. You have to concentrate, and if you're
I had my days. Believe me, I had my days of seeing things in a totally different way, and now I try and convey what maybe my vision used to be like at the shows. So
yeah, and you can see that by your photography with the trails and with the double exposures and stuff like that. So Jake, whatever you're doing the right thing. You're on the right path. You have you're in the right time. The lighting and timing is what I say are the two greatest things that you have. And you've nailed both those things, and you're a gift to the scene. Thank you for picking up the baton and taking it on. And Fish is lucky to have you. Trey's lucky to have you working with them. And I don't know why you wouldn't be there for all 8. Because what the hell, you're easy to work. You're easy to work with. Like guys like you talk to Patrick Jordan about me. I'll tell you what a pain in the ass I am.
It's not my say. I go with the flow, and I'm happy as can be with whatever. So,
is there anything you want to say to everybody out there before I let you go?
That just to anybody who's ever supported me and reached out, or just thank you, really, from the bottom of my heart, and thank you to the whole entire Fish crew. They're just amazing people.
Well, good shit. I hope you're there when Fish hits that stage in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, listen, I'm just guessing. I'm not pinning you up or the band or anybody, but I'm just guessing that we're in for a lot of great music over the next 6 weeks. And it's not just going to all be Trey Band. He's got other projects. But like he said, the logistics of getting everybody in, James Casey's in Hawaii. For him to come over would be at least 2 weeks.
I was trying to think about the logistics, and it's mind numbing,
because we can't move and the numbers are growing, and we would like to see all these bands. I'd like to see the Horns. I would like to see Fish, Oysterhead. I would like to see every band that Trey's ever been in the past 8 weeks. I think it would be absolutely incredible. So my fingers are crossed. I'm entertained regardless. I think that Trey's been killing it the past 2 shows. What's your take?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. You got to stay optimistic. You really have to keep your sanity. Just stay as optimistic as possible. And that's all we can do.
It's true. Jake, thank you. Thank your parents. They did a great job raising you. You're an incredible young man. You got incredible talent, and you can see you come from good stock. So if I ever get a chance to meet your parents, I hope that happens one day at a show or something, so I could talk to them, because they sound like they got to be.
I want to bring them to a show one time.
They haven't been yet.
In one Fish show, but my dad, I got to get them there.
All right. Yeah, I think my dad, Pinky's been to 2 Fish in his years. He was at 2, and Mom came to 1 at Bader Field because it was only 3/4 of a mile away from her house, and I made them come, and they stayed for a set. And it is amazing. And my mom's like, "Wow, you have a lot of energy. Jeffrey, if you dance like this all the time, you'd be skinny."
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. Jake, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time. All right.
Have a good
Take
one.
care. All right. Jake Silco, incredible talent. You can see his work. Follow him on Instagram. Check out his pictures. I mean, the pictures are incredible. They're all over Trey's site. The picture with the one that I shared today on the on our piece that we saw earlier today, the one with the beacon. He did a double exposure with the band in the front and then the beacon. What do they call that? The sign in there. Anyway, tomorrow, Low Cut Connie from Philly. Wow. You want to talk about a town that's got a lot of energy? Low Cut Connie. If you don't know who I'm talking about, you definitely want to check out Low Cut Connie. I want to tell you about my lawn. I want to tell you about my grass. You know, a lot of grass here at 420 Live is real, but this isn't. This is synthetic grass. It can also be made into a nice wig. I'm going to get one made for me so I could just wear the wig for my promos. Sin Lawn. Environmentally sound fake grass. I have fake grass all over my house because I live in Los Angeles and I don't want to be spending money watering a lawn because they never come out right. Half of it's black and muddy and the other half isn't. So check out Sin Lawn, and they're going to be giving away a roll of 5 foot by 7 foot artificial turf. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. I think that's coming up soon. Yes, the future of entertainment. Marquee was the word. Thank you, Kevin States. I should do like a game show here. You guys can guess the words that I'm trying to remember. The marquee. That's Marquis de Sade there, Kelly. This is the kind of marquee. But I appreciate the marquee. That was like Michael DeBar is the marquee as a marquee also. It's a different kind of marquee. You know, folks, I'm going slowly crazy here. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's 156 shows. I am slowly losing my mind. If I don't have some fun soon, I'm going to lose my shit right here for you at 420 Live. I'm just not going to tell you what show it's going to be. So you're going to have to tune in. Watch me lose my shit on the daily. And tomorrow with Low Cut Connie, Wednesday with our friend Nathan Moore. I'm working on Thursday and Friday. I have a lot of great requests out. But until then, peace, love, and happiness, everybody out there. Here's the big hug. Thank you, Jake Silco. Thank you, Trey Anastasio. Thank you, everybody that works with fish and loves fish. I mean, you know, that's the band that brings us all together. You heard Jake talk about what it's like not to see his friends and not to see your people. It is killing me. There is a hole this big right here where the music used to go, like that, right where my heart is. That's where the live music went. And I am completely empty without it. So I thank everybody that's bringing it to us. And the Marquis de Sade, they're very good. The Marquis de Sade with my sod. That's good. It's good like that. There you go. That's flat top. I could be a cartoon character now in a James Bond movie. Thank you, Kevin States. I love all you guys. You know, I miss you. I mean, we had a great time in Mexico. Our rooms were right. We had our own private pool. Kevin and I would swim and meet and talk, and we had a great time in Mexico. And it would just seem like everything was just going to jam for 2020. And then, boom, we got COVID. And the worst part about COVID is that we can't get our country all on the same page and get rid of it. That's what's driving me crazy, is that nobody wants to believe the science. Well, you know what? Yes, I will vote for Joe Biden. Yes, I will vote for science. And vote, 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 vote. How many times do I got to tell you? Voting, 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 voting. Thank you to Head Count to Andy Bernstein for my new shirt. I will be wearing it. Obviously, it needs a little clean. It's getting a little sweaty in here. But if you're not registered to vote, you're running out of time. Get on Head Count. Make sure you're registered. I think California, it's today or tomorrow, right? Yes. I think it's like right now, the 19th. And that's it. That's all I got for today, folks. But you know what? We'll be back tomorrow with Low Cut Connie. Tune in.